I'm back here in America, back in sunny Southern California from Mexico. So here's what we're talking about today. Today, I'm going to teach you or talk to you about avoiding the next level income trap. And I see this so often with so many entrepreneurs as they grow their business. And it's really, really important because if you don't avoid this trap, this is the thing that could be stealing your six-figure months from you. So I'm going to give you 3 tips to avoid this trap today. But before I do that, I want to give you an invite to the Cash Creation Challenge. So I've been running this challenge for the past 2 years. We run it twice a year, and it's coming up again. And so I've decided this time I'm going to gift 250 seats to this Cash Creation crash course. 60 of those seats are already gone. So here's how you get access to it. And what we're going to do is I'm going to be walking you through step by step the strategies that I use and my clients use in order to create six-figure months, in order to create 30K sales just from posting on social media, 50K sales. I've had clients do over six-figure sales, not in sales, but one sale for over 6 figures just from a simple post that they did on social media. And there's a strategy behind it and a way that we focus our content. And so I do this crash course every year as a way to show people who have been thinking about working with me how I roll, and to prove to you it doesn't matter what time of the year it is, you can always make money. In summertime, people are always like, you shouldn't launch a program, you shouldn't sell anything because people are on vacation mode, they're not investing. And so I want to prove to you in just a week's time, 4 short days, we're going to show you how you can make big money in your business by just focusing on the right things. So here's how you get access to it. When I pop this up, if you're watching on my business page, you should get a link in the comment section. You're going to go to letsmakemoresales.com, register. Make sure you bring a friend because there's nothing worse than trying to grow and the people around you don't get it. They don't get where you are. So letsmakemoresales.com is where you want to go. If you're watching on my personal page or you're listening on the podcast, just type in that URL and it will take you to the right place and you will get the secret location where we are holding this cash creation crash course. Again, letsmakemoresales.com is where you want to go to get that. Okay, so enough about that. Let's dive into this next level business trap, okay? There is a little known and little talked about trap that comes with making more money and revenue in your business, that comes with increased cash flow. And I want to shine a light on that today because the truth is most entrepreneurs aren't even aware of this trap. And those that actually experience it, they rarely talk about it because it doesn't fit the narrative of success that they want you to see, right? It doesn't fit that public facing image that, you know, I made $1 million and now my life is peachy keen. And so I want to share with you what this trap is so that you can avoid it because it doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to be that way. What happens because of this, when people get into this, success becomes a revolving door. You enter a revolving door of success and failure in your business, of high income and then trying to get there again. And many entrepreneurs go through this. And this is what it looks like. Okay, when you get into this trap, it looks like this. When you hit $10,000, and I can have an entrepreneur that's making $10,000 a month that has more money in their bank account than one that's doing $50,000 a month. And likewise, an entrepreneur that's doing $50,000 a month could have less money in their bank account than someone who's doing $100,000 a month. Somebody who's doing $300,000 a year could have more money in their bank account than somebody who is doing $1 million a year. And so those numbers begin to not make sense. And here's how it shows up in the marketplace. Oftentimes I post about my client's success. I post about my own success and what level of business I'm at. And there's always 1 or 2 people who are on those posts who are like, well, tell me how much money you get to keep, because they've experienced that in their life. They've either seen somebody who eventually ends up coming out the closet and telling people they've been stressed out while they've been building their business all of these years, while they've been telling you guys they've been successful and they have little money in their bank account, or they've experienced it themselves. They got into this trap where they started to make more money and they started to spend more money. It's like that song, I think it's Biggie, More Money, More Problems, right? The more money you talk about, the more problems you see. It doesn't have to be that way. And so these disgruntled people show up on my posts and they're like, well, how much do you get to keep? And I'm giggling because my business is ultra profitable and I don't grind it out. I've even had people ask me, I'd love to see your calendar because you're doing so much revenue on a monthly basis. I'd like to see what your calendar looks like. And I'm thinking to myself, where is this parallel? Where is this correlation to the fact that if I make more money, that I have to be working 24/7. I have to be working super, super hard. Where is this correlation that just because you say you make a lot, you have a lot of revenue coming into your business doesn't mean you have a lot of cash, or it obviously means you don't have a lot of cash. And I am here to flip this on its head. When I say that I'm helping my clients shift the wealth code, these are also the kind of things that I'm talking about. You can keep the money that you make when you're smart about it. And I'm going to teach you today 3 little tips for avoiding this trap. Okay. Again, it doesn't have to be that way. Chantel said that song had me messed up in my 20s for a minute. Exactly. It's that the subliminal messages that we hear all around us. All right. So generally, though, I want to tell you that it is the truth for most people as they start making more money. Like I had dinner with someone one time and they were having a launch that does $500,000. No, it wasn't $500,000. It was a launch that did $5 million. Every year they only did one launch, and that launch was $5 million, but they were only keeping a couple $100,000 of that, right? 50% of it was going into just their partnerships and JV partnerships that they had with people. And you could run a business that way if that's what you choose to do, but I don't. And I learned this the hard way in 2 ways. One, my last business that I had back in 2001 to 2007 that I lost, that was the thing. Every time I started making more money, I started spending more money. So as I've grown on this journey, I've taken that wisdom with me as I make investment decisions, as I look at growth and adding team to my business and all of those things. The other thing is when I first came into this industry, we'll call it coaching and consulting. Although I see myself as an outlier in the industry and I don't call myself a coach or a consultant, that's a whole nother story. But in this industry, when I first started, people would actually tell us like you had to look like you were successful. So there were all these things they would make you do. They would, let's say 2010 or so, like Infusionsoft was a huge thing. And it was kind of like the talk that if you weren't using Infusionsoft, then that showed that you weren't a successful entrepreneur because it was pretty expensive. Like they're cheaper now than they've ever been. It was thousands of dollars to start Infusionsoft. You would be starting, if you got a great deal, it was $3,000 just to start. Right. And so that was a mark of a successful coach or consultant in this industry. And I bought into that, even though my business wasn't making any money. Okay. And so the money that I was making was going into the coach that I was playing and into all of these little systems so I can look like a successful coach instead of using MailChimp, which was free. Right. And so I want to talk about how those stories and those messages get into your head and cause you to start doing things because you want to look the part of a successful coach that actually hinders your ability to create more revenue and cash flow in your business. The main reason is because if you are worried about money, you have to make money to make your overhead, to meet payroll, to pay your bills, then that stress is rooted in lack. And like I always say, seeds produce fruit. And so the seed of lack, no matter what you're trying to do, if you're sowing and you're creating content in your business, you're posting on social media, you're going live, you're having sales calls with clients, but it's all rooted in this undercurrent of I need to get a client because I have to have this many clients to pay my bills, it is going to produce more lack. And eventually you're either going to run out of clients or your business is going to go bust. And we're seeing this come full circle. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of who used to be big coaches in this industry who are now focused on and doing other things. And they're telling you why they're shifting this way or that way. And it's because these bubbles are bursting, right? They could not maintain the high amount of capital that it was required for them to keep their businesses at that level. All right. So how do you avoid this? I want to share with you how you avoid this. So you avoid this by being really, really smart. Get out a pen. Because what I'm about to share with you could absolutely change your life, and it changed mine. Literally, when I started saying, forget all that crap, forget what it looks like everybody else is doing, And I did start using MailChimp to build my business. I actually hit 6 figures for the first time after that because the stress was gone. It was free. Right. And then over time, as I started to make more money, I started to make different investments. And so I'm going to kind of pull the curtain back and share 3 little principles that I think will support you and alleviate some of that stress. You could be very successful. It doesn't matter what level you're at in your business. If you create this paradox where you have to make money, like it's not easy for you. Eventually, everything's going to go bust. It's just the way that it works. And I see it all the time. People start being successful. They start spending a lot of money in lots of places. They start hiring people that they don't even need in their business before their business is even ready for it. Their business technically doesn't even need those people to support them, but they want to look successful. They start looking for new traffic sources like Facebook ads, YouTube ads, and just throwing money at quote unquote, trying to reach more people when they don't understand conversion and the psychology of selling and the copywriting that makes all of those things work. It's not just put an ad and a picture in front of people and they will buy. There's so much more that needs to be dialed in order for those things to work. Here's the thing. If you can't make money from your organic things that you do, you're more than likely not going to make money from Facebook ads. If you can't get 100 people or 200 people into your challenge or your webinar, your masterclass from just posting on social media, you're more than likely not going to be able to do it even if you throw money at the problem or ads. And so you're just wasting money thinking that's the way that it's done because you're looking around at other people and saying they're doing it, it must be working, right? And I feel like the biggest Actually, there's one more that I want to share with you. You start to inflate your lifestyle because you think you've made it, right? You want to show other people that you've made it. So my first business, I was making just under a couple of $100,000 a year, right? So I'll call it $200K a year. I was doing all kinds of stuff. I was writing people $1,000 checks on a whim. I was paying for people to go to college. I had an assistant that I was paying $30,000 a year. I had an office, a brick and mortar office, all of these things. And most of it was because I wanted to show the success of my business. But when I think about that now, because now I'm running a multi-million-dollar business and I don't have all those things. I mean, I have team and stuff now, but I crossed $1 million with one virtual assistant and working from my home. I'm going to say that again. One virtual assistant and working from my home, a part-time virtual assistant and working from my home. I crossed $1 million in revenue without Facebook ads. Now, am I saying you have to do it that way? No, but what I'm about to share with you is what allowed me to actually build momentum and actually build my business with ease, which created this effect, right? It created this glow up effect where money was coming to me so easily because I wasn't stressed out about it. Now we have added team, right? I just hired one more person. I'm going to start introducing my team to you, but we have 2 full-time staff. We have, I have 3 part-time assistants that do various admin things. My team is growing. I have 2 coaches on my team. So I have a team, but that's at a multi-million-dollar business. So I think the biggest culprit of all of these things is hiring way too soon. Because you want it to look good. You want to show that you look like everybody else out there. Also spending money on websites and things to make yourself look good. Like I see people with no clients at all doing branding photo shoots. What the heck for? Your branding looks good. You're taking time to put all the little things up. If I go to your website, it looks incredible and you don't have one client. How do I know? Because I'm a sales coach. People come to me. I know. And that's the stuff I want you to stop doing. I built my business without a website. We threw up a landing page maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm doing my first brand, like my real brand, what I'm calling my legacy brand right now. It's the first time you'll ever see a full-fledged website from me after I crossed $1 million. Because now I have the money that if it cost me 60 grand, 70 grand, it actually cost me almost $100,000 to do this rebrand, but it's done right. And I had the money to do that and I still have money left over and I still feel the same way. So there's no stress in what I'm doing. As I'm hiring my team, I'm paying them well, right? I get to pay them well so they can do a good job because I only want to hire A players. When I'm hiring well, then there's no stress behind that and I have the money to do it, right? It's not a chicken and an egg kind of thing. It's not a chicken and an egg kind of thing. Okay. So let's talk about this. Because if you do any of the things I just talked about at the wrong time, what happens is you get inside the 6-figure hamster wheel. You start pushing yourself harder and harder while grinding out smaller and smaller profit every single month because your bills are so high. And you look like a hero to everybody else, but the truth is you're not, right? I want you to be the real superhero that you are, right? You may have to start getting on more sales calls, spending more time, and you're just freaking stressed out. You get to build this thing however you want to, and I don't want you to hate your business. I want you to have something to show for it, and I want you to love it. Like we're always talking about CEO behavior in my business, and that inside of my community. And that's like hiring other people to do things for you when you're ready, right? That's being able to take a vacation and still make sales. We're living our lives, not just living for the business and the creation of revenue inside of the business every single day. Like you didn't go into business to create a job for yourself, did you? Right? Did you do that? Probably not. And trust me, like I said, I've been there. Okay. So how, Shamika, how do you simplify this? What do you do? I want you to simplify your business, right? So write that down. Simplify my business. Don't add more offers just because you think you always have to be creating something new. I have 3 main offers in my business. And even when people look at those 3 main offers that I have, I'll tell you what they are because I want to kind of break this down for you. They think they have to start there. But the reality of it is I built my business by focusing on one revenue stream. Okay, so let me tell you what the 3 are, and then I'll tell you how I built it out to get to where it is right now. So I have my highest level program, which is Next Level Authority. It's my mastermind. Okay. The mastermind is $30,000 and above to get in, depending on what level that you're in. I have my next tier offer, which is Play Big, which we have another round that's coming up this month. It's all sold out. I'm super excited about it. We have about 22 people playing this round. That is $10,000. It's $10,500 to participate in that, right? And then I have Sales School, and Sales School is $5,000, right? And that's my lowest tier program. So if you look at those 3 programs, and that's a membership program, it's not really a membership program. It's my lowest level coaching program. You usually get 12 months. Quite often, because I like to be generous, I will gift people with lifetime access to Sales School because I know if you're building your business, you want to have quality leadership, quality community, and quality brains that you can tap into. And so it's my gift to people as they're building their business. And it's my honor to be able to sometimes offer that to people for lifetime access until they're ready for the next levels, right? So when we look at those 3 levels, though, the simplification of my business came this way. I focused on one thing and one message, and all I was doing was enrolling people into my mid-tier program, which was Play Big. Play Big was the flagship program. It was the only program that most people ever knew that I had. It's all I talked about. We're running the 15th round of Play Big, and it's been a program that I've run twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year. It's been 6 months long. It's been 12 weeks long. It's been 14 weeks long, 8 weeks long, because we test it, right, to see what works. And now it works like a well-oiled machine. It's a 14-week program. We put people in it, and people go into that program, and they do what they did all the year prior in 90 days or less. Right? Because we're doing the same thing over and over again and focusing. One program. Then what would happen is once people were done with Play Big, then I would upsell them into Next Level Authority. So what happens is my messaging on the outside was super streamlined. So people got to know me as the person who helps people collapse time and make more money than they ever thought possible, faster than they ever thought possible, just focusing on that message. If they weren't ready for either program, then I would secretly put them into Sales School, but I didn't talk about Sales School on the forefront of my business. As I started making more and more money, then we started talking about other programs at the forefront, and actually Sales School is where we went. We went to publicly talking about Sales School. So the programs are still there, and here's what I want you to get. you can build a multi-million-dollar business. I'm not even going to say $1 million business. So those of you who are trying to get 6 figures and every month you have a new offer, a new masterclass you're selling, a new this or that, especially without a strategy on the back end for what to do next, just every month you're doing a new one so you can make more money, you're killing yourself for no reason, and you're likely not going to get where you're trying to go. You can build a multi-million-dollar business with 1 to 2 offers, right? 2 offers would be pinnacle, and I would say 3 max. And I want you to breathe and let that sink in. Simplify, because not simplifying, overcomplication in your business is what's costing you your 6-figure months. Simplify, focus, simplify, focus. The second thing I want you to write down is to be smart. Actually, let me go back to simplify. So that's with your offers, right? But you also want to simplify your marketing. Remember, I crossed $1 million without ads, right? I crossed $1 million without funnels. I had some simple funnels in place because I am a student of marketing and I've been in this industry for well over a decade. So I do understand how funnels and marketing and all of that stuff works. I took Facebook ad courses when they first came out, right? My first Facebook ad certification was in 2012, right? I've been around for a long time. I understand how all of those things work. However, I realized that they weren't my zone of genius, and having a small team, it was better for me to focus on contact with people because we're in a high-tech, low-touch society. So I flipped everything on its head and went high-touch, low-tech. It allowed me to call in the right people. So it wasn't calling in masses. I also want you guys to know that I crossed $1 million in revenue in my business with a list that was under 2,000 people. I'm going to say that again. My list, my email list was under 2,000 people when I crossed $1 million in revenue. So you want to simplify your marketing efforts and be intentional about who you're trying to connect to. Let go of all the crazy technologies and upsells and downsells for every offer and really get to the nitty gritty of what you're here to do on this planet, who you're meant to serve, and how they can work with you. That's it. You go straight for it. People come to me all the time. They're like, I want to do a masterclass that leads to this, to that. I'm like, can't you just go reach out to those people who you're trying to get to join the masterclass in hopes that they're going to buy your $10,000 offer? Yeah, you can do that. So simplify. The next thing is be smart. Write that down. Be smart. So here's what I mean about be smart. I know that I told you that I crossed $1 million with just a part-time assistant, but I also had a gauge on my company and its growth. And so as we started to pick up revenue, that's when I started to look at who am I going to need to hire? And here's how you do it. You start to ask yourself, if I were to bring in 50 people in this program, what would break first? If I were to bring in 100 people into this program, because some of you guys set goals for 100 people in the program, and you don't have the infrastructure that could carry 100 people, your whole thing would fall apart. People will be asking for refunds and you haven't thought about it, right? So being smart is understanding where you are in your company and then setting those goals. And that is the number one reason why you don't sell 100 people in your program, because internally your gut knows you can't handle it. So you might have $1 million revenue stream dreams. You might have 6-figure a month dreams. But until you have the capacity to hold it infrastructure wise and internally, it will not happen no matter what you try to do. Did you catch that? Did you catch it? So you want to be smart, right? Set a goal for where you are now. If you don't have a client, your first goal is to get a client. Not I want 10 people in the program or 30 people in the program. It's get a client. Let's run them through this thing. And then you want to look at, okay, if I have a goal to bring 50 people in the program, which is what we did last year. So I'm going to tell you the story about last year. I knew that my team was lean. It was me and Paula, who is my OBM, right? The one assistant that I had on my team at the time. And then I started looking at, okay, Game On Live is coming up. And I'm saying that I want to bring, at the time I had a goal of bringing 30 people into my Next Level Authority program by this time last year. I was saying that this time I wanted to have 30 people in my program. Just so you know, we sold 44 people into that program at Game On Live, but this is what I did that allowed it to happen. I said, okay, I can't coach that many people. So I hired a coach that could help me with the overflow of those people, train that coach, right? Then I went, okay, I know what onboarding looks like when it was just me and Paula. If we're going to bring in 15, 20 people, which is what I thought we were going to do a Game On Live, and we ended up doing double that. If we're going to bring in that many people into Next Level Authority, we've got to either shift the onboarding process or we have to hire a team to help us do that. And so that's when we ended up bringing on Shannon. And Shannon's job was, Shannon's my executive assistant. Her job was to be my EA, be my, my brain, tell me where I'm supposed to be. She does all my calendar and all of that stuff, but also to help with the onboarding of the people who came through Game On Live. And we also enlisted the coach that we hired, which is Katie, into that system as well. But we were thinking about it ahead of time. So take a deep breath. I know you're hearing me in my story. What are your champagne wishes and caviar dreams right now? Where do you want your business to be? And then ask yourself this question. In order for me to get there, what would break first? That's how you're smart about who to hire, when, and where. I didn't just go, okay, I need a Facebook ads expert and a copywriter on my team. That wouldn't have been smart, because with the Facebook ads expert and a copywriter on my team, I still would have had those other problems where I couldn't deliver. Even though that might have got me more people, I wouldn't have to do copy. I can write copy. We can do Facebook ads a different way. We can outsource it in a different way. So you have to look at, where are you? Where do you want to go? And what would break? So if your goal is to bring 10 people into a program and you're struggling with 3 people into the program, or you're exhausted with 3 people in the program, subconsciously, you're actually repelling sales. And so you have to think, if that's what I really want, what would break first, and who would I need to hire to help support me with that? Be smart. Don't just go spending money on an assistant or this or that because you see other people doing it and you want to look like you're doing well too. It's not the smartest thing to do, because the mistake that I say people doing when they're not being smart in this area is that they're over their head with revenue and investment. Their revenue is invested in hiring people that they can't sustain, right? I also, when I hired those people, I knew that we were bringing people into a long-term program. So the revenue that I generated by bringing those people in was going to sustain their payroll for the entire year, because it's a 12-month program. You must be smart. You are a CEO of a company. This isn't a hobby. This isn't you just being on TikTok doing videos and being an influencer and making money. You're running a company. And so you have to think like a CEO of a company. Last one. Know your level of business. Know what level of business that you're in. So I teach 3 levels of business, right? And in those phases of business, which we're going to talk about during the cash creation course that I invited you guys to, that's what we're going to hit day 1. There are things you should focus on in each phase. Some of you guys are doing things that happen in phase 3 and phase 1, and you're wondering why it's not working, because you're all dialed into your funnels. You're like, how do I get X amount of people into a masterclass? I'm like, if you can't get one person to raise their hand from a single post or to get on a live stream with you, honey, don't try to do a masterclass. Right? So there's different types of marketing for different phases. There's different types of CEO type investments for different phases, right? There's different strategies for each phase of business. Some of you are trying to leverage or scale 0. Like, I want to scale my business to 100K months. How much revenue are you making? 1, 0, right? You can't scale 0. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 100 is 0. 0 times 1,000 is 0. 0 times 100,000 is 0. So you got to learn how to manually, organically be able to create leads, be able to create clients, be able to create sales and revenue in your business. And when you can do that over and over again, you know you've got messaging that works. You know you have something that works. Then you start looking at leverage and scale. You start from that point. Because then when you get to scale, Facebook ads work because you knew that it worked before. The same messaging that you used before to get those people in. So we're at scale now when I'm at $1 million, and now we're trying to scale to $500,000 a month, right? In my business, we are doing over $1 million in recurring revenue is coming into my business. So if I don't do anything else, I will make $1 million this year. Everything else I sell is on top of that. At this stage, I have the freedom to test things and try things and spend money in different areas so that we can scale the business to the level that we want to be and to hire team. So know what level that you're in and start with the strategies for the level of business that you're currently at and be okay with that. Our ego says, "Oh, well, I'm going to do, I'm going to do $1 million this year." And I'm like, "Boo, you haven't even made six figures yet. You got to make six figures first, because then you have the knowing in your knower." I'm going to call your soul your knower, right? In your DNA, the knowing of how to create six figures. Then you just begin to learn to collapse time. So if you simplify your business model, be smart when it is time to make investments in your business. I'm not saying hold on to everything, but be smart, use wisdom and timing, right? And then know what level you're actually already operating at. So I can't go into a lot of detail on all of this here, but I will be going into detail when you're spending this week with me during the crash course. So I'm going to put this up again and invite you and tell you to invite some friends too. So there is the link. So if you're watching on my business page, the link is populating right now into the chat section. It's letsmakemoresales.com. I am giving away 250 seats. This is a course. If you don't know me and you're new to me, I don't know what other people are doing out there when they're telling you they're taking you through courses and you join this stuff and you're like, what are we doing? We literally make money. I am literally sharing with you the templates, the strategies, and each of the phases that I take my clients through in order for them to create revenue, because I want you to see what it looks like when you work with me. I want you to see how quickly you can create revenue in your business when you're focused and intentional and doing the right things. So we will spend 4 days together going through each of the strategies. And then I've added some bonus things in there. So we're going to do a deep dive class together. I'm going to have an open Q&A session where you can ask me anything. So I'm going to hold you in this container. If you want to kick off the second half of the year like the power player that you know that you are, plus get some wisdom and knowledge about the things that I've been sharing with you over the course of this talk that we've been having about avoiding the next level income trap, then you want to go to letsmakemoresales.com. So if you go to letsmakemoresales.com, I am going to be walking you through how to position yourself, how to make the shift to your offers so that you can call in clients that pay you $30,000, $50,000 or more for your offers. Even 10, like some of you guys are at that level, that's fine too. I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you what language looks like at that level because it's different. There's a resonance to your offers. There's a frequency to your offers. There's a frequency to your marketing, and everything has a frequency. So it's got to be an energetic match for those you're trying to call in. And quite often it's not an energetic match for them. And so they keep moving, even though they may need you desperately. They can't see it, feel it, or hear it. They can't sense it because the frequency is off. So I'm going to show you how to position yourself, how to shift your frequency, how to shift the frequency and the languaging around your offers so that you can call in better quality clients who are willing to pay you and pay in full. We get $30,000 payments in full around here. We get $60,000 payments in full around here. We get $100,000 payments in full around here in my camp. And so I want you to understand how to do that in any freaking economy. I'm going to show you some of the most badass strategies that my clients and I use to call in these types of clients because it's simple. If you watch me on my personal Facebook page, I'm always marketing, but I'm not always sell. I'm always marketing and I'm always creating clients by doing things that you think I would not create a client for me. When we went to Cabo, it was so funny just to watch my clients because I was like really on them, like use this time, get out of yourself and use this time to show yourself in a different light. You don't always have to be the teacher on your page, right? And so they were using their content from Cabo, and literally one of my clients posted a picture on the beach and said, I get to work from anywhere. And someone messaged her within 24 hours of that being posted. I don't know how fast it was. I'm not going to lie about it, but within 24 hours, they said, hey, I want that in my life. And they ended up paying $25,000 in full to work with her. That's it. No questions asked. I'm in. And it was from one simple post, right? And so I want to teach you what we do in order to call that in and how we create this, what I call a digital footprint that allows us to be able to write a single post that creates a client. So I'm going to teach you that. I'm going to teach you my sales strategies that most people don't do sales the way that I do sales. So I'm going to teach you those strategies so that you can get clients, right? I'm going to teach you 3 or 4 strategies that you're actually going to do during the crash course. So go to letsmakemoresales.com, invite a friend or 2 or 4, and let's take this first month of the second half of the year and blow your mind what is absolutely possible for you to create. Listen, if you're not on track for what you said you were going to make in January, it's okay. You can still do it. It is perfectly fine. You just have to get focused and be intentional. And then when you're focused and intentional and you have the right strategy behind that, everything is possible. Everything is possible. I had clients last year do their first 6-figure months the last 3 months of the year, right? I have clients call in 6-figure clients the last month of the year when people are saying not to sell, right? Anything could happen when you're focused and intentional. So go to letsmakemoresales.com. It's going to take you to the secret location. You're going to actually opt in, right? And it's going to give you the secret location. When you get to the secret location, know that we're going to hold you in a space for a little while. We will open the secret location for the crash course all at one time. We'll enter together because there is something powerful, I feel, about a community of people all moving towards one common goal. It's like pouring gasoline on your results. And so that is what we're going to recreate the containers I create inside of my programs over that 1 week period, right? Again, I'm gifting 250 people seats. 60 of those seats are already gone. Grab your spot. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I'm super excited to share this wisdom with you. I'm excited to have you guys with me for the crash course. Don't forget, grab your spot at letsmakemoresales.com. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment, like right now. I'm not gonna stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously, leave a comment.